Hi everybody, welcome once again to Out of the Ordinary into the Extraordinary. I'm Robert Taylor, coming to you on WMTV.
And I'm Pamela Hill Taylor, and as always we love to bring you guests who are uplifting, educational, and outstanding in their field. And today we do have
we've hit the
absolutely,
jackpot.
we've hit the jackpot today.
Yeah. And we're in St. Clair Shores, just south of 10 Mile on Harper, at a place called Advanced Training Techniques, and we're with some of the trainers here, and we're going to be talking with the CEO, Brent Steep. Brent, welcome.
Thank you so much, Robert. Thank you, Pamela.
So what we like to do first off is find out how you came about this institution.
Excellent. Well, Robert, fitness was always something that I really personally enjoyed. I was told actually when I was in 5th grade by my wonderful fitness instructor when I couldn't make it up the rope in gym class that, you know, Brent, you're a pretty smart kid, but you're never going to amount to anything whatsoever with physical education or body performance.
A lot of us have had those experiences. Yeah.
Well, you showed him.
Well,
yeah.
That remains to be seen. However, I do appreciate that. It did, however, really ignite a passion even more so within me. Passion to be better for myself and for the people around me. Passion to develop my body. And in that, I started a quest, general sports, things of that nature. But, well, with a gentleman of my stature, it ruled out things like basketball and, you know, just being the size that I was at the time, football. Although it was an option, it wasn't anything I could be very successful at. So I chose a different route. I chose competitive powerlifting and bodybuilding. And it was something that I sincerely enjoyed. As a matter of fact, I became kind of good at it. I got to the point where at 135 pounds, as an all-natural athlete, I was able to lift almost 3 times my body weight in the bench press, which is approximately 385 pounds. Now, that being said, I learned some things along the way as far as fitness conditioning goes, and the things that I learned, unfortunately, didn't help me. As a matter of fact, it left me in a situation where, fast forwarding a few years through college and sports and things of that nature, I resembled kind of a mini bulldog with about the flexibility of arm raises to about here and things of that nature. Not a very functional body, more of a strength and a performance type body. Well, my body passion was ignited. I went to Michigan State University and studied exercise science, where I received a bachelor's in exercise science, as well as a biomechanical degree from MSU. Continuing onward, I became a program director of a YMCA, professional coach for area collegiate teams, anything from swimming to racquetball, anything I could put my hands on to watch the body move in its most challenging positions and find ways to have people enjoy the things that they love to do without having to deal with those long-standing aches and pains and limitations that happen whenever we use the body in a repetitive scenario. Moving forward from there, I always love to talk to people and educate people along the way, so I decided to become a personal trainer. However, after working for many institutions, what I found is that the training that I was doing was sales training. It was about quotas and commissions, not about the stories that you want when you come up to your manager's desk and say, "You would never believe what my client did today," only to be greeted with, "Well, I don't care what they do as long as they're renewing." That was a very big, disheartening moment for me, but it was also a moment that I made the decision finally to say, you know, I've got to stop looking and start creating. And so what happened at that point is, well, those people who know me know that I'm very stubborn, and I've also been accused of being a perfectionist from time to time. That being said, I started to do something very novel. Took it back to person-to-person relationships. Decided I wanted to work in a certain area, took my little car, decided to go door to door, much like a home improvement salesman would be, and ask you one question. Have you ever had a personal trainer? Knock, knock, knock. Slam, slam, slam. Oh, you're willing to talk to me? Well, because you're willing to talk to me, my goal is to create a personal training company. I'm a certified personal trainer. If you've never had one, I'd like your feedback. I'd like your input. Would you be able to afford me your opinion so that I can find out if I'm going to be a good personal trainer? I'd be more than willing to do this on gratis for you, to train you for half an hour and see if it might even be something that I should be doing. And sure enough, 50, 100, 200, 300 homes, continuing on, we started a little something. This was almost 2 decades ago.
Yeah.
Now, do you have people come here, or do you still do that? Do you go to people's...
Oh, we are still mobile as well. As a matter of fact, the facility concept is one that I never really wanted when I started. As a matter of fact, I was just an independent representative. I wanted to remove all of the barriers to fitness, whether it be weather, child care, no transportation, whatever the issue was. Just the, heaven forbid, we wake up, it's too cold outside, I'm feeling fine, but I really don't want to get out of bed for another hour type speed bumps that prohibit people from getting to their fitness goals. And once you are showing up at 5 o'clock in the morning with a smile on your face, equipment on your shoulder, and a pretty darn good attitude, you don't lay off the doorbell till they get up, they run out of excuses. But we did continue that concept all the way up until 2007, I believe, when we started working on our first semi-studio, where we would actually take a plant facility, a Tier 1 plant facility, and change their lunchroom into a workout space, provide all the janitorial, and then reset it to, after working their employees out, reset it back to their lunchroom. And so it became an on-site program that expanded more than just the one-on-one or two-on-one family service. Then from there, we started getting more and more requests, and frankly, as a personal trainer, I ran out of time to train people.
That's incredible.
Well, the more incredible thing than that happened is I've met a couple of key individuals who decided, hey, I want to do what you do, but not just what you do as a personal trainer, the way that you do it, and the way that you move people forward towards their results, honoring those person-to-person relationships.
They didn't want to be in that big corporate world either.
Absolutely. They wanted to be specialists, true masters of their craft. And in 2006, my first group of personal trainers that I had assembled together all said, oh, well, this is exactly what we want to do, but had one problem with that. They all had personal training certifications from other organizations. They had all worked in other places. And interestingly enough, when you try and start something new and you have a bunch of old ideas, the new ideas somehow always get edged out. So my original team, unfortunate to say, my 2006 team is no longer around. Started again and picking up independent people along the way, said, okay, instead of having you go and certify through somebody else, let's teach you hands-on, mentoring as many hours in a day as we can fit, what it is to be a personal trainer, how to act, how to dress, how to respond to people, how to truly get them to their fitness goals. Because it doesn't matter what happens, you can love or hate your personal trainer. In the end, if the results aren't there, we are a liability, not an asset. And so focusing on those results, delivering them in a very responsible way. I don't know, one of the things that we do is a dress. I don't know if I shock people when I don't show up in the tight spandex with my biceps flexing and my neck and really, really loud and rah, rah, rah. I
hate those people.
Well,
They just don't seem real.
Absolutely. Larger than life, aren't they?
Yeah.
And that's something that I wanted people to lead with their education, because it's the education that a person receives that is going to truly make the difference in their lives. And that gives them something that they can then follow and apply from case to case.
So how's your approach different in terms of getting the body in shape?
Well, excellent. I'm glad you asked that question. As a matter of fact, our approach differs greatly from traditional methods of workout. The first thing that is most important is that everything that you do in your daily life is different, literally, not even from moment to moment, but from blink to blink, on one concept alone, and that is that your cells are constantly replacing each other. You have new cells coming online, old cells coming off every moment of every day. That being said, you have to make sure that your body is in a neutral position with neutral muscular tension before you start any type of active program. Because if it's not, you are simply augmenting further and further away from being neutral and being, in some cases, pain-free or people will say, I'm too tight, or I have chronic pains or acute pains. A lot of these pains are just developed from the way society has taught us to stand. Okay?
I'm aching as we speak.
Oh, you're aching as we speak.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm going to do everything I can to assist you with that. And as a matter of fact, I'd like to teach you a couple of just basic rules about the body that you can apply to everything that you do. Okay? Are you game?
Game.
All right. Excellent. Well, Pamela, might I use you as
Yes,
a
yes.
representative? Okay. Pamela, what I'd like you to do for me is I'd like you to just, as you are right now, stand in your relaxed and comfortable position.
I always like my heels to be a little bit farther out. That
Okay.
makes me feel more balanced.
Okay, excellent. First of all, that is a tremendous observation. The most balanced that a human body can be is when the hips are literally in alignment with the knees underneath. Now, even on our medical charts, the charts that you find all throughout, you know, your hospitals, chiropractors, et cetera, these are very common charts, but they're still a little bit off, and I want to show you why. Your hips, your knees, and your ankles, when that is exactly in alignment, that is when your body is in its best position to have neutral force.
Yeah.
Even a little thing like an outstep on the foot, okay, changes the way that the legs work and switches the force into smaller stabilizing muscles, which then destabilize the hips, which then destabilize the
feel
back,
that.
and so on
Yeah.
and
You know,
so
when
on.
you try to stand
Yeah.
this, I always,
Absolutely.
this feels like sturdier somehow
Excellent.
when you got them lined up.
And I'm having a little problem in that area, that very area.
That very area. Well,
Yeah.
again, let's see if we can't help you. And you know what? You can feel free to participate on the standing as well, Robert. We might
Okay.
as well do this as a team, because that's what it's all about anyway. If we're not a team, we're not going to function well. We're not going to have the results that we want. Okay? So that being said, nice and even, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to take your feet. Gently keep them forward as you have them. Move your feet to be hip width apart. Okay, now Robert, one of the things I noticed with you, and
Yeah.
I'm not picking on you at all,
Oh,
sir,
not at all.
but we have a tendency, when you stand, you have a tendency to stand with a double outstep.
Yeah.
That destabilizes and disengages the larger muscles of your legs, which puts more pressure on your back. And you had mentioned that you had a back
Low back.
Yeah.
situation
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
Well, interestingly enough, everybody says, oh, the muscles of my back. Well, this area right here is actually a bundle of tendons. The red is the muscles. Now, the difference between a muscle and a tendon is a muscle, 24, 48 hours up to 72 hours later, it's repaired. When we start to have tendon problems, we're looking at 6 to 8 months for repair.
Wow.
That's why this constant repetitive overuse of certain areas can indeed disable people over time.
So a knee injury, say, is why can take a long time to heal then?
Knee injury can take a long time to
Shoulder.
heal. Shoulder injury, absolutely. It's also because of the amount of force put through that particular area. Force has to be controlled, and we'll talk a little bit about that as we are doing our standing example. For instance, right now, do either one of you have your knees locked?
I don't feel
No.
it.
Okay, good. Excellent. A lot of times when you put somebody in this position, the first thing that they want to do is they want to lock their knees.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, not
So what
good.
I want you to do, absolutely, when you think about the human knee, when the human knee is locked, that means that the joint is completely engaged and all of the body weight is causing that, what they call a synovial capsule, okay, to crush down and very, very immobile.
That sounds painful.
Well, absolutely.
Or it will be.
On a continued basis, this becomes quite painful for people. You hear people wearing out the cartilage in their knees,
Yep.
tearing a membrane in their knees so that they
Yeah.
could no longer be lubricated. That's because by positioning yourself this way, you're telling your body to be stationary in that joint. You're grounding that joint. Okay? So the best way to stand, and I promise you, you won't lose even a quarter of an inch on your driver's license, because for somebody of my stature, that's important. I can't shrink.
yeah.
What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to keep your knee as close as you can to straight without actually locking it.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, what you're going to feel, and for you, Robert, it's a little different. You're going to feel your hips are actually coming forward, which this is your body's intuitive way to try and release that back.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you to do something completely different. I'm going to tell you to go the other direction with it. I want you to gently bring your hips back just a little bit like so. Start to bring your hips and your backside back just like so. Do you feel the difference? Okay? And now from here, we're going to continue, Pamela, with you as well. Have you ever been told to stand up straight?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Did I not? Oh.
Well, you know, and that's the thing. Anybody listen? Okay.
Yeah. Do we listen? Yeah.
Well, here's the thing.